Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Alex.
Good morning, everyone. I'm
Morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone. I'm morning, everyone.
Okay, are we ready? Are we ready now?
Ready? We ready now?
Okay.
Ready now? Ready? Ready now? Ready? Ready now? Ready?
Okay,
Ready now? Ready?
okay,
Ready
I'm
now?
going to
Ready?
call this
Ready
meeting
now?
to
Ready?
order.
Ready now? Ready?
First order
Ready
of
now?
business is
Ready?
privilege, Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Thank you,
Okay,
everyone. Okay,
next, if we could please do a roll call.
Commissioner Burrell? Here. Commissioner Marvin? Here. Commissioner Richards? Commissioner Santangelo? Commissioner Zaragoza? Chair Avila? Alternate
Okay, thank you. We have a quorum. Next item is the agenda review. Consider and approve by majority vote. Minor revisions to commission items or attachments and any items before and continued from Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Okay, moving forward to public comment. Public comment is a portion of commission meetings. Members of the public making presentations. Okay, is this just informative stuff on here, or do I need to read it?
You don't need to read it. It's just an opportunity for the public to make any general comments.
Do we have any comments? Nobody from the public. Thank you. Okay, moving on to the consent item, item 10. Has everyone had the opportunity to review first and second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to hearing items. Item 11, municipal services review for the following Utah County Special Districts. First one is Ohio Basin Groundwater Management
The presentation will include all three service
Use for the Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency, Ojai Water Conservation District, and Pleasant Valley County Water District. Every 5 years, LAFCO is required to review the sphere of influence, which is the probable physical boundary and service area of a local agency for each city and special district. In order to update an agency's sphere, LAFCO must conduct a municipal service review, known as an MSR, for that agency. An MSR is a document prepared by LAFCO that covers specific topics related to the function of a local agency. An MSR contains a discussion of a variety of subject areas, which are included on the screen here, and include growth and population projections, location and characteristics of any disadvantaged unincorporated communities, the present and planned capacity of public facilities, and the adequacy of public services, the financial ability of agencies to provide those services, facilities, accountability for community service needs, and any other matter. First up is the Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency, which covers the Ojai Valley, including most of the city of Ojai and the east end of Ojai, containing a large amount of agriculture. The OBGMA was formed.
Sorry, we're gonna go ahead and pause for a quick second. I was just notified that we're not broadcasting
Okay.
properly. They're trying to fix it. Sorry. Okay, test. Need me to test again? Just let me know. What was that? Okay. 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 Looks like we're good. Sorry about that, Andrea
okay.
and staff, and please continue.
Do you want me to back up at all, or just carry on?
Yeah, let's just start this presentation over since we're only on the second slide.
This slide is just a summary of the requirement by LAFCO to conduct a sphere of influence review for each city and special district in the county, and also the requirement that a municipal service review is required if an update to the district or sphere of influence for the district or city is conducted. And again, the list of requirements in a municipal service review. And the first district that we'll be looking at today is the Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency, which is within the city of Ojai and the east end of Ojai, the unincorporated area, which contains a lot of agriculture. The OBGMA was formed in 1991. It is a dependent district and is governed by a 5-member board of directors. The OBGMA monitors the extraction and use of groundwater within the Ojai Valley Groundwater Basin. And the district's population is 8,170, and its jurisdictional area covers approximately 16.5 square miles. The OBGMA does not provide direct water service, and it owns and maintains no infrastructure. Instead, it monitors and documents the extraction and use of groundwater. It manages groundwater quality, collects extraction fees from well owners, maintains a groundwater model, monitors groundwater levels, and promotes the operation of the San Antonio Creek spreading grounds, which allows for the artificial recharge of the Ojai Valley groundwater basin. Extraction within the basin is approximately 4,000 acre-feet per year, which can be supported as sustainable yield is approximately 4,100 acre-feet per year and is possibly even more than that. Of the 180 extraction wells within the basin, 141 of those are metered, and there's a current effort to ensure that the remaining 39 will be metered in the near future so that OBGMA can better track and document extractions within the basin. A groundwater sustainability plan, or GSP, was required to be prepared for the basin pursuant to the Sustainable Groundwater Management Act, known as SGMA, which was enacted by the state in 2014. The OBGMA was designated as the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, or GSA, for the Ojai Valley Groundwater Basin. The GSP replaces the Groundwater Management Plan, which was regularly prepared prior to that by the OBGMA before enactment of SGMA. Recent activities undertaken by the OBGMA include a contract with the Casitas Municipal Water District for general manager services, which has created continuity for the district. It has adopted a budget. It has adopted financial policies and procedures. It accepted an audit proposal for fiscal years 1920 through 22-23, which follows its adoption or acceptance of an audit for the prior 2 years, for fiscal years 17 and 18. So it is definitely working to come back from its backlog of audits which had not been prepared up until that point. And it has also adopted board meeting minutes for the last several years, which were also only done sporadically. So it is working through that backlog as well. And it established a meter compliance ad hoc committee to bring those remaining 39 wells into conformance and to bring them to be metered. The MSR has an in-depth discussion of the OBGMA's relationship with the Ojai Water Conservation District. The map on this slide shows the OBGMA, shown in blue, encompassing the Ojai Water Conservation District service area, which is shown in red. These two districts have historically shared office space and management and staffing resources, and they have coordinated their functions and operations very, very tightly. The OBGMA is authorized to preserve the quantity and quality of groundwater in the Ojai Basin and to protect and maintain the long-term water supply for all the water users in the basin. And related to that, the Ojai Water Conservation District is authorized to monitor the use of groundwater, acquire water rights, store and spread water, and construct dams and facilities. The 2003 MSR, which was conducted by LAFCO, that's the most recently prepared study that LAFCO has done of the districts. It recognized that there were service area overlaps, apparently duplicative services, and that it would be logical to investigate reorganization of these districts, and that there may be practical challenges to pursuing such a reorganization. The contents of that MSR remain true today, and the district should continue to explore the possibility of reorganization. Next is the Ojai Water Conservation District, and this covers the area within the east end of Ojai, mostly within the unincorporated area. The district was formed in 1949. It is an independent district that is governed by a 7-member board of directors. The Water Conservation District is authorized to provide groundwater management, water replenishment, and water conservation services in the Ojai Valley's east end through the monitoring of groundwater use, acquisition of water rights, storing and spreading of water, and construction of dams and other water facilities within its jurisdictional area. However, it does not currently provide any of those services. The district's population is about 2,500, and its jurisdictional area is 5.82 square miles. Although the district is authorized to provide a variety of services in support of groundwater conservation, it currently has no role except for the assignment of a district board member to represent private well pumpers on the OBGMA board of directors. There is potential for the district's involvement in the operation and maintenance of the San Antonio Creek Spreading Grounds Rehabilitation Project, and it appears to be the only function that the district might provide in the future, and even that is questionable. The Spreading Grounds project was constructed in 2014 by the Ventura County Watershed Protection District and provides the opportunity for artificial recharge of the Ojai Valley groundwater basin. It includes the installation of a diversion intake structure and recharge pipeline to infiltration ponds and percolation recharge wells. It provides an average of 126 acre-feet per year of recharge and is designed to provide a maximum of 914 acre-feet per year. The Watershed Protection District's intent is to transfer ownership and operation to one or more entities, potentially including the Water Conservation District. The diversion facility, though, has not yet been shown to operate as designed. A February 2023 report states that the diversion of measurable volumes has not occurred since the completion of the project, and a feasibility study is currently anticipated to determine if it can be expected that this facility will eventually operate as it was intended to do. The feasibility study is expected to be completed later this year, at which time it will be better understood if it makes sense to put more funding and effort toward that project. The Water Conservation District is not in a financial or a staffing position currently to assume responsibility for the diversion facility now or within the foreseeable future. The MSR includes an evaluation of everything that you see here on the slide, as well as everything contained in the report, but we wanted to highlight a few items here. The district does not regularly prepare a budget, audits, or financial statements. It does not have an adopted board meeting calendar and appears to meet sporadically. It does not have reliable contact information. All of the website data, except for the board meeting information, agendas, and minutes, all consist of links to the OBGMA website. Board meeting agendas and minutes on the website are inconsistent, difficult to find as they're throughout the website and not all located in one place. The effectiveness of the diversion facility component of the Spreading Grounds project is questionable. The district's involvement in the Spreading Grounds project is also unclear, and there would be limited financial or staffing resources for the district to be involved in such a project. This is the same slide that you saw before for the OBGMA. So as with the OBGMA, the MSR has a discussion of the Ojai Water Conservation District's relationship with the OBGMA. The two districts have historically shared office space and management staffing resources and have closely coordinated their functions and their operation. The 2003 MSR recognized that there are service area overlaps, apparently duplicative services, that it would be logical to investigate the reorganization of the districts to include the dissolution of one agency, and that would likely reduce costs, and that there may be practical challenges to pursuing such a reorganization. There would be issues potentially related to water rights, differences in principal acts, composition of the governing boards, and interest level of the district's board members. It does not appear that efforts to further evaluate this have been made. The circumstances surrounding the opportunity for reorganization involving the Water Conservation District and OBGMA do not appear to have changed since 2003 when the issue was first identified, and the opportunity to explore reorganization of agencies continues to exist today. The OBGMA and the Ojai Water Conservation District should investigate government restructuring options to address overlaps in purpose, authority, jurisdictional area, governing board members, staff, and consultants for improved service provision and economies of scale. And finally, we have the Pleasant Valley County Water District, which is located within the Oxnard Plain area, generally south of the city of Camarillo, and containing primarily land in active agricultural production south of the Ventura Freeway.
Hey, sorry to interrupt you. I'm just here thinking after the two current, the Ojais, should we have discussion of those and split it up? Because these are completely separate. So I'd like to split them up, if that's okay. So first, do we have any public comments or anybody on the public that would like to comment on those last two MSRs, Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency or Ojai Water Conservation District? Okay, so now we're going to the board and to the commission. And I think Mohammed, we'll go with you first. You raised your hand.
I have a question, Andrea. So this Ojai Water Conservation District, it seems like it's not reorganization only. I think it's ready for dissolution. Kai can talk about it. It doesn't seem like it's doing anything that is necessary, and I don't see spreading ground. And I tried to read the report that you gave us. I didn't see the purpose of this spreading ground, and it's not being done. Come see, come saw situation. So, but then when I look at what you have provided, the professional support, 1/2 is being provided for that. And same with the Ojai Valley Management Agency, 1/2. So maybe we can eliminate something. Who takes care of that? Who looks into that rather than leaving it to them?
One of the items that we have on today's agenda is also the sphere of influence review of each of those. And as part of the sphere of influence review for the Ojai Water Conservation District, there will be a request for the commission to continue the sphere of influence review so that we can wait for that feasibility study of the rehabilitation project to be evaluated, so that there will be more information regarding whether the Water Conservation District would have a role potentially in the future.
It will come to the commission.
That would come later.
What is the plan? How long?
We expect that to happen sometime this year. 2024 is what we were told, and so we'll be back as soon as we have that information.
Okay, thank you.
And we'll be looking, we'll be looking for direction from the commission as part of the sphere of influence review, which will be next.
Yeah, just going off of that, that's, and I'm gonna get to your comment, just going off of his comments, that's very concerning. And, you know, it's been 21 years since the last one, and there hasn't been any change. So if we're gonna go forward and continue to give them options, I'm with him. We need to have a timeline, and we need to be on this, right? We can't just let things continue, but going on.
Thank you. Some of my comments echo the sentiments of my colleagues here. You know, I was concerned to see the deficiencies that came up during this review. And my questions go to, how long do we allow the agency to continue on? I mean, is it something that it's fluid and that do we have a set timeline in order to bring them to a compliance stage? I have a couple more questions.
Yeah, it really is up to the commission. What we'll be recommending as part of the sphere of influence review is that the commission take no action at this time until the county has completed the feasibility study to determine if those spreading grounds will in fact be feasible in the long term. If they are feasible, the county is going to need to identify agencies up in the area to take over the ownership and operation of those spreading grounds. And the plan has been that potentially the conservation district would be involved in that. So if it is proved to be feasible, then the next step will be to identify if it does have a role. If it does have a role, then we can return to the commission and say there is a role here now for this conservation district, provided they start doing all of the things that are expected of them regarding budgets and financial, et cetera. If there is no role for the district, then basically the district will not be providing any services for the foreseeable future, and the commission can then have those discussions about next steps.
Okay, thank you. So if 2003 was the last MSR, I thought we did MSRs every 5 years.
We do sphere of influence reviews every 5 years.
Okay.
Those may or may not entail a municipal service review.
Oh, okay, my mistake there. And then early in your conversation, Ms. Osty, you mentioned that there's an overlap of service and they manage it tightly. And I was curious about that word because I think about some of the other agencies that we've dealt with before that have had kind of a mishmash of sister-related organizations, and I'm concerned about how do they separate the costs, how do they track all that, how do they keep that separate indeed? You know, that was the GMA, I think it was.
Yeah, that is definitely a concern as well. They are overlapping. They do share office space. They share employees. That one half that we were talking about earlier. There's definitely a blending there of all the different services that are provided, and that's why we're raising the question at this point. And as Kai was just discussing, that it may lead to the point of where one of those districts, the Water Conservation District, may no longer be necessary. At which point that issue would be resolved, or that potential issue would be resolved.
So are there voluntary dissolutions and involuntary dissolutions, or how does that process work?
Yes, if the board, we have met with board members of the Conservation District, and they are open to the idea of eventual dissolution. There is a process in LAFCO law that would allow that board to proceed and apply for a dissolution. That would be the simplest process. There's also a process where an affected agency, such as the county or the OBGMA, can apply to LAFCO for the dissolution of that agency. And under changes to LAFCO law recently, SB 938, there is now a process under which LAFCO, after making determinations and accepting an MSR, can initiate the dissolution process with an increase in the what am I trying to say? The ability of property owners to stop the dissolution is reduced under this process. So it would probably be more successful for LAFCO to initiate the dissolution, again, if it finds that there's issues with the district.
Okay, my last
one
question.
other-
Sorry. My last question is, it goes to process here. If the MSR was in 2003, and we don't necessarily review those every 5 years, but in this case, there were deficiencies, right? Is there a way to have a cycle to come back for a further review so we don't wait 21 years before this issue comes up, right? And address it in a more timely fashion?
Right, and that's our plan with the sphere of influence review. So the MSR is just informing the commission about future actions. So the MSR can stand on itself. Now, when we, as Andrew will present the sphere of influence review, that's the opportunity where the commission can decide what it wants to do and how to handle future actions. In this case, because there is a potential for the Conservation District to have a role in the operation of those spreading grounds, we thought that the commission might want to determine or know whether those spreading grounds are going to be feasible in the long term before it makes a determination about what to do with the district. So our recommendation as part of the sphere of influence review will be to basically continue it until that study is done. And then we can come back to the commission and say, yeah, it's going to be feasible. There is a role for the Conservation District. No, it's not feasible. And we can provide options to the commission about what to do about the Conservation District at that time. So the timeline would be contingent on the completion of that feasibility study by the county.
Did either of the, I mean, considering there's so many questions, did either of the agencies know that we were presenting this today or show interest in attending?
The Ojai Water Conservation District, the president of the district, he was aware, and we work closely with him. They don't have a general manager, so he was our contact for the preparation of the MSR. We met with him several times and had plenty of exchanges over the last year or so regarding this. So yeah, he's well aware, and he even prepared a summary of his views, which are represented in the MSR. And the OBGMA, the general manager, which is a staff member of the Casitas Municipal Water District, she may be on Zoom. I don't know if she's here, but she had, sorry,
Yes.
Julia Aranda. Oh, okay.
That's what I was going to mention, that OBGMA is really providing the work for the for that Casitas is providing the work for the OBGMA. And now there's also a conservation district they're doing. So the whole thing is convoluted, and maybe Julia Aranda can give us a little bit more information.
Yeah, it's very convoluted. Before we get back to Julie, is there any other questions from the commission?
No, so the recommendation is to continue this item, is that where we're going?
The recommendation now is just to accept the municipal service review.
MSR.
Right, and then as part of the sphere of influence review, we'll make a recommendation about future actions.
If I may, Mr. Chair. Kai, when, maybe I missed it and I apologize. What's the timeline? When do we anticipate sphere of influence coming back to this commission?
It will be after the feasibility study is completed. So the Watershed Protection District just signed the contract for a feasibility study last month. It is anticipated to be completed this year. So once that feasibility study, or that study is completed, we can return to the commission for final action on what to do regarding the sphere.
So as supervisors, we can nudge along the watershed district to get that done so we can expedite it coming back to this commission, I suppose. The other question I have is, would the sphere of influence report back include potential courses of actions or recommendations, specifically by county council and staff for this commission to make decisions on dissolution, consolidation, et cetera, or will that be a natural conversation that just happens afterwards?
The goal now would be to return after the feasibility study and provide the commission with options.
Okay, thank you.
Any more members of the commission? Any more? Okay, could we bring on Julia for her comments? Okay. Julia, feel free to unmute yourself. I know you had your hand raised.
Julia will be talking, right? You're giving Julia the opportunity to talk about this situation. She was going to mention, she raised her hand.
Yeah.
For her comments. Okay.
Hi there.
Feel free to unmute yourself. I know you had your hand raised.
Can you hear me?
Hello, Julia. We can't hear you.
No. You're giving Julia the opportunity to talk about.
I don't think the audio's working. Sorry, I don't think you can hear me.
You're giving Julia
the opportunity
to talk about.
You're hearing her.
I don't think the audio's working. Oh, there we go.
Sorry, Julia. It appears we're having some technical difficulties here.
Testing, testing. No. Can you hear me? Testing.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Julia?
Sorry. No.
Sorry, Julia. We're just gonna. I think we're gonna take we're gonna take a 5-minute break. I think to try and figure this out and we'll reconvene.
Okay.
All right. It's she can hear her.
That's okay. You're doing what you can.
Julia, could you give it another try?
Okay, testing, testing.
Yeah, we can hear
Testing,
you. Give us a
testing.
minute.
Anything?
Yes, we can hear you, Julia. We'll reconvene in just a minute.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bringing this meeting back to order, and sounds like Julia can hear us now, and we can hear her. Feel free.
Hi, good morning. My name is Julia Aranda. Have two jobs. I'm the general manager for the Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency. I'm also the engineering manager at Casitas Municipal Water District. I've been serving in that capacity for OBGMA for almost a year. It'll be a year next month. And as was mentioned in the MSR, really have done a lot in the last year to bring OBGMA current on a lot of things like audits and the meeting minutes, budgeting, things like that. I did want to address one comment that was made about the sharing of staff. I don't serve in any capacity for Ojai Water Conservation District, but the admin person that OBGMA has part-time also does some admin work for the Conservation District. And that is basically separated by her timesheets. You know, she tracks her time she spends with each agency, and the timesheets reflect that. So I'm happy to answer any other questions that anyone has.
Okay, questions from the commission?
Yeah. Actually, Andrea made it clear that and Kai made it clear there is a study going on, and let's wait for that. That's what I feel. The questions have been answered before.
Julia, do you know what the timeline is for the completion of the study?
No, I don't know anything about it, honestly. I felt like that was a county watershed activity.
Oh, okay. Do we know about that? Is it a county watershed study?
It's the Watershed Protection District, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, the contract was signed last month, and we've been told by the district that it will be done this year. And we've been working very closely with staff from the district on this.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
Well, to follow up, Ms. Aranda mentioned one thing about just separating timesheets, but managing tightly, I don't know what that means, because just to have one admin person and separate timesheets, that doesn't go back to how do you separate all the cost of sharing the rent and lots of other services there. So, I mean, I'm not comfortable with just the response that we have a time card that does it. So I don't know about the rest of the commission, but, you know, I'd like to see other procedures in place that actually separate and segregate the expenses for that.
Yeah, and one of the issues facing staff preparing this MSR was that we could not obtain the financial documents, budgets, audits, no financial information from the Conservation District. They simply did not provide them. We asked for about 5 years of those documents and received nothing.
So even if this feasibility study is completed, it looks like there's only two options either way we look at it, considering the facts, which is consolidation or dissolution.
And I would probably recommend against consolidation. If the district is deemed to not be feasible in the long term, then it probably should be dissolved. And the OBGMA, if necessary, could take over any of the services that the Conservation District would have otherwise provided.
Right. Okay, other questions from the commission? Okay. All right, thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Pleasant Valley County Water District.
Again, the Pleasant Valley County Water District provides service south of the 101 freeway in the Oxnard Plain area. All that is agricultural land, shown in yellow, which is the service area, and red, which is the sphere of influence of the district. The district was formed in 1956, and it was formed for groundwater conservation purposes in order to support the reduction of demand on the groundwater basins. The district is an independent district and is governed by a 5-member board of directors. The district is authorized to provide agricultural non-potable water for irrigation purposes. Its population is about 100, and its jurisdictional area is 18.76 square miles. Its service area is 12,000 acres within and south of the city of Camarillo on both sides of Las Posas Road between Highway 1 and Highway 101. Its infrastructure and facilities include 30 miles of pipeline and also the 2 Pleasant Valley Terminal reservoirs located at Las Posas Road, which in combination have 250 acre-feet of capacity. The Pleasant Valley County Water District relies on a variety of water sources to serve its agricultural customers, including groundwater, surface water, and recycled water. Reliance on each of these water sources depends on factors such as the amount of precipitation, crop rotation patterns, how many ag fields are fallowed, and the availability of surface and recycled water. Groundwater to the district comes from the district's 11 wells within the Pleasant Valley Basin and the Oxnard Subbasin. Groundwater supplements surface water deliveries, and water is either pumped and delivered directly to customers through the district's pipeline system or stored at the 2 reservoirs. The district obtains a portion of its surface water from Caneo Creek through the Camrosa Water District, and this is made possible through the Caneo Creek Diversion Facility and the Caneo Creek Water Pumping Program. It also receives surface water from the Santa Clara River that is diverted by the United Water Conservation District. Availability of surface water fluctuates, sometimes dramatically, and the district attempts to rely on surface water as much as possible in order to preserve the groundwater. The district also receives some recycled water from the Camarillo Sanitary District, the Camrosa Water District, and the City of Oxnard. The district's use of recycled water supports regional water resilience and benefits the agencies that provide that water by reducing the volume of recycled water discharge. So this chart here, this graph is supposed to just show the division of all the different sources of water and provide just a quick summary because the district's water sources are very complex, as I found in preparing the MSR, and spent a lot of time working with the general manager and trying to untangle exactly how that works. This slide shows the patterns of the district's reliance on the range of water sources. While the district has in recent years relied heavily on groundwater to serve its customers, which you can see in the bars on the left there, it also demonstrates how in years like last year, with lots of precipitation and surface water available through the Santa Clara River and Caneo Creek, reliance on groundwater is greatly reduced. And you can see that in those brown columns that are shown for Caneo Creek surface water and Santa Clara River surface water. The district at all times takes advantage of opportunities to use alternative sources of water before extracting groundwater in line with its original purpose. Capital improvement projects and water programs of the district include the Supplemental Water Availability Ordinance, which creates water use areas for the purpose of establishing volume of supplemental water that the district will provide. Also, an interconnection pipeline project is currently in development, and that would connect 2 of the district's pipelines to accommodate improved transfer of recycled water across the district service area. Installation of a supervisory control and data acquisition system known as SCADA, and that allows the district to remotely and efficiently monitor and control system operations. And the Groundwater Sustainability Improvement Program enables the district to expand its ability to capture and store surface water immediately following rain events. Notice of the public hearing was not required, but it was provided by publishing in the Ventura County Star and posting on the Ventura LAFCO website and outside the Ventura County Government Center. The final drafts of all MSRs were posted on the LAFCO website as part of the agenda packet, and no comments have been received to date. Staff recommends that the Commission adopt a resolution to accept the municipal service reviews for the OBGMA, the Ojai Water Conservation District, and the Pleasant Valley County Water District, and make statements of determination as required under LAFCO law. And that concludes my presentation. Julia, I believe, is still on, and we also have Jared Bouchard from the Pleasant Valley County Water District, General Manager, in case there are questions of him.
Thank you. Jared, would you like to make any comments? Good.
I'd be happy to answer any questions. And just by introduction, my name is Jared Bouchard, General Manager of Pleasant Valley County Water District. Appreciate the time staff took working with us. And Andrea is very patient as we all get very busy. She'd have to ping me every Friday, Jared, where's the info, where's the info? And So we got it done. I think the presentation fairly presents Pleasant Valley County Water District just because you're such a diverse group and board. Maybe I'll expand a little bit just because I have the opportunity. I said I wasn't going to say anything here, but I thought that maybe I will. As Andrea presented, 12,000 acres of agriculture land is supported by Pleasant Valley County Water District, and its deliveries, its purpose when it was formed was to reduce the reliance on groundwater for that area. And the history of that goes back to the 1800s. The Oxnard sugar beet factories started out in that area, depleted aquifer system where prior to Bulletin 118 boundary modifications, they believed the entire Pleasant Valley County Water District sat in the Pleasant Valley Basin, which is a pumping depression. When the Bulletin 118 modification was made, it kind of split us directly through the middle. So we overlie both the Pleasant Valley Basin and the Oxnard subbasin. But you guys all know how important agriculture is to Ventura County's economics, jobs, all of those things. We're feeding people all over the country. Pleasant Valley represents 30% of all the irrigated acreage in the Oxnard Basin, so it's an important piece of infrastructure that exists there. The benefits to the rest of the basins through the programs that were spoke about. I'm going to toot Pleasant Valley's horn. I've only been there since 2017, so I didn't implement all of those things. They were there. I got to inherit the good work that these folks have been doing for a long time. The surface water delivery system from United Water Conservation District, although not totally quantified, by delivering that water, that's the same water that recharges the basins that we all pump out of wells from and whatever else within the basin. They put it in the ground and folks pump it out. The delivery system that takes it by surface water from Saticoy all the way out to the Pleasant Valley, which is where we're right across, where that water gets delivered right across from the Camarillo Airport. That's all done this was done back in the 50s, early 60s. They built that system as a entirely gravity-fed system before anybody was worried about energy efficiency, those kinds of conservation things. Pretty remarkable engineering feat to figure where that water's coming from, taking it out there. But the delivery of that water, they believe, rather than putting it in the ground, trying to let it infiltrate out there and pump it back out, has a greater than a one-to-one benefit by the delivery of that surface water directly to us for delivery. The other projects, the recycled water projects, those things all have benefits that other folks within the basin receive that the Pleasant Valley landowners have paid for exclusively. So they've been a key component in water conservation within the county for going on 75 plus years today. And so I think that's important to recognize, and we'd ask that, when you hear those things come forward and we talk about water policy, which you guys all have different issues involved in those things, that we continue to support the good work that everyone in the county is doing. I want to mention the SCADA program that was put in place there. One of the first reasons that we did that was a well optimization project that has reduced by over 35% the energy demands for the pumping when we do that. So there's a green energy process that's occurring as part of that. So that is good. The water sustainability project that was spoke about, that came as a result of the GSP plans that the Fox Canyon Groundwater Management Agency enacted, and then Sigma round grant funding is helping us do that. That project is intended for us to take advantage and try and partner with the landowners out there. So as Andrea mentioned, we only have 250 acre feet of storage, and storage is very expensive to build, very expensive when you're trying to provide water to 12,000, 10,000 irrigated acres. 12,000 is the landmass, 10,000 irrigated acres. Storage is a key component. So what we've done is we've partnered with private landowners to incentivize them to either build storage or work with us to drain their reservoirs in advance of rainstorms so that we can capture more of that surface water and put it in storage for when it dries up. And in the first year of that, we accomplished a little over 500 acre feet of additional storage, which is meaningful to the basin. So wanted to take the opportunity to toot our horn a little bit about some of the good work that they're doing. We've got other work that we need to continue to do. Appreciate the commission's attention and happy to answer any questions about
Thank you,
about Pleasant
Jared.
Valley.
Just to say, that's very impressive. Love what you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. I see we got a few people raised. We'll start with Pat.
The MSR talks about a pipeline interconnect. Where are you connecting to, and where is this pipeline going?
So it's entirely, excuse me, it's entirely within the district's service area. When the distribution system was originally built, there were the district itself was formed of really large parcels of 300 acres or greater blocks of land. Since that time, as we all do, none of us make it out of this thing alive. Some of the patriarchs of the families, matriarchs, as they passed away, it went down to their kids and they became smaller and smaller blocks of land. So why do I say that is the distribution system was kind of built around the outskirts of the district just to bring water to those large blocks of land. So it was really a bifurcated system. In water systems, they generally call it a loop fed system, where you want to be able to move water from one side to the other and keep it all moving. We didn't have that ability. So with the recycled water projects that we have online, we were really bringing that in on what would be the southwest side of the system. And some of that water is really high quality water. And only that southwest side of the system would achieve the benefit of that water. So this pipeline will interconnect us right through the middle of the system, allowing us to move that water into the eastern portions of the district or blended in there. And there's an inherent water conservation that occurs with that higher water quality as the salt loads build up within the soils for the crops. They have to leach that down into the lower portions of it, get it out of the root zone. So the higher water quality we can deliver to the land, there's a water conservation that occurs with that, just by a result of not having to do as much soil leaching or back flushing of their filter system. So it sits in answer to the direct question, it's between Wood Road and Las Posas Road on Laguna. So if you're familiar with the Howling facility, that's Laguna Road, and it'll interconnect us there. It's a little over 8,000 feet of pipe. And then additionally, as an additive benefit, a partnership with the United Water Conservation District as part of that project. They're building a interconnection. They operate what's called the PTP system just adjacent to us. And in order for us to wheel that high quality recycled water into the PTP, which is another agricultural district, there's plans for them to interconnect and tie into us for us to wheel that water through, which is another issue we need to come back and speak to Kai and staff about, to make sure we're not violating LAFCO provisions that way of doing so. But that's part of the larger plan. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Two quick questions. Do you know which SCADA provider that you're using?
Yeah, so as much as I hate to say this, I've been around this for a little while these days. And Pleasant Valley we're a small staff. There's only 4 people there total, myself, admin staff, and then we've got 2 field employees. So technical expertise doesn't exist in the field. So we opted to look at a cloud-based SCADA system where all the programming's done off-site, and they just send what they call a field interrogation unit that just plugs in, takes inputs and outputs, and they do everything outside. And it's called XIO Inc. is the company.
I know exactly who they are. Okay, great, thanks. My second question is, how do you get the recycled water from Oxnard out to your district?
Through a series of very expensive pipelines that were built. So as the chart showed, you saw back in 2017, we took a lot more of that Oxnard water. There was a short-term permit process that allowed us to utilize the Callegas brine line before it had customers online. So they were actually delivering water backwards up that pipeline from Oxnard up that pipeline to us. We spent a little over $1.5 million for that project to occur for about 6 years. The permit went away. Oxnard in 2022, I believe, completed what they called the Phase 2 recycled water pipeline, which extended their infrastructure from Olds Road along Wainimi Road all the way out to us, and they connect to us at Wainimi and Wood Road.
Okay, that's fine.
So,
Thank you.
yeah,
That comes from the wastewater plant on Perkins Road.
that comes from Oxnard's Advanced Water Purification Facility on Perkins Road.
Perkins Road, yeah. Just for information.
Okay, Mr. Mohammed.
Reports. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I always like the reports Andrea does. I even learned new words I told her today. Also, I'm looking at her, this one is figure 4 and figure 6. I have quick questions on that. Of course, it's amazing you do quite a bit of different ways of bringing water in and so on. And my question, the most important question that comes to my mind is, how much reservoir capacity do you have? You alluded to, but I didn't catch it. You were said you have plenty and then you're doing more. Explain a little bit more on the reservoir.
So what are referred to in the report as the Pleasant Valley Terminal Reservoirs. Those have a combined storage. There's 2 of them. One is 100 acre feet, the other is 150. We 99% of the time operate them as one single reservoir where they have interconnection. We can isolate them if necessary, but it's a combined 250 acre feet of storage on site.
That is significant. Then on figure 6, she talked about the groundwater deliveries, and it seems like you're not getting much. 2023 was only 319. Is it you don't need groundwater delivery?
No, I mean, I know you know the answer to this, Mohammed. We went through a horrible drought cycle, and so, that's the way conjunctive use works and the basins are intended to work. We pump when we need to, but we prioritize our surface water deliveries, and we've had the good fortune of having a couple of very rainy years, and so we've been able to minimize any need for groundwater use and rely solely on United Water Conservation District's deliveries of surface water, Camarosa water from the Conejo Creek project, and the recycled water supplies. So it's the way it's supposed to function, and we try to adhere to that very strictly.
So these recycled water, this last question, recycled water that you get, you do have, you blend it. What ratio do you blend it? I mean, that's amazing because what you get is extremely pure water, and you have to blend it with something. What do you blend it with, and what ratio?
So it's all just an availability question. There is no blend ratio, and just for edification and clarification, the City of Oxnard Advanced Water Purification Facility water is very high quality water, probably better water than most of you will get out of your tap at your home, in all truth being told. But the CamSan water that we take, which is Camarillo Sanitary District water, we take that through Camarosa, and some of Camarosa's recycled water. Those are pretty low quality waters. And so it's just a matter of what's available. There is no blend ratio. There is no mixing station. It's a prioritization for us that those waters are available. We take them, and we only go to wells when we have to.
Because these water that you're talking about are extremely high quality just by itself. To deliver by the pipeline, it could corrode, it could.
Correct.
It's amazing what happens. So it's a blessing you have that, and you have to decide on what type of blending you would have to do.
Well, all the more reason, as an engineer, I know where you're going with this. That's part of the reason as well for the interconnection pipeline, to ensure that we are not
see that.
scouring the pipeline with this really high quality water that can remove all your minerals and cause early degradation.
Yeah,
Thank
I have
you.
a question. So you mentioned you have 250,000 acre feet of storage.
No, 250.
250. Oh, 250, not Okay, acre feet of storage.
Correct.
What's your current level of capacity? How much storage do you have currently?
Well, so part of all of these things as we put in SCADA, gotten better data, we manage the reservoirs seasonally now.
Okay,
So if you ask me today, I would say we probably have room for about 100 acre feet of storage, right?
wow,
We will quickly move to a pattern when it comes to summertime and demands are really high, where we try not to leave any storage in that reservoir, because what happens is demands overtake our production capability, and then it floats off of that reservoir to make sure that folks have water to do the irrigating that they need to during the day. So during the winter time, we try to operate that reservoir with lots of storage, so if rain events come, we can capture more surface water.
okay. Great work, thank you.
Thank you.
Did you have a question?
I was just going to share that the water that we recycle in Oxnard, and Mohammed had a lot to do with that. It's so good, that potentially one of these days, maybe the state might allow us to use it for potable water, but
One day.
one day we hope.
Yes.
There's a lot of water that we have there.
Very good.
And Mohammed was really instrumental because he was our person that ran our wastewater for Oxnard for many, many years, so thank you for that.
I'm sorry it took so much time. I didn't plan on speaking, but I thought. I'm happy to answer any other questions you all have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on, do we have any other questions or comments from the commission?
I just have a clarifying question about the MSR. So I noticed that in the Ojai Valley resolution, it does address the deficiencies in there. So that's made a part of this MSR, right? So that's what we're approving with those deficiencies noted?
Yes, what's contained in the resolutions.
Yeah, okay, great, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, just the thought, considering the deficiencies in the first two MSRs and the Pleasant Valley one, I think it would be a good idea to split them up from the Pleasant Valley Water District. Would that make sense, or it doesn't matter?
You could do it either way. This is acceptance of the MSRs, so it's the information, as Kai was mentioning, it's just information that you're either accepting or not accepting.
Got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's why they have this all listed in the resolution of, that's what was my question going to, was all those deficiencies are in the resolution for approval.
Okay, all right, in that case,
And Mr. Chair, the recommendation is to approve the MSR.
To accept them, yes.
With the deficiencies,
with the
as
deficiencies.
noted.
As
Yes.
Okay, in that case, we're looking for a motion in a second.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Moving on to item 12, LAFCO 2022 TAC 24S Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency Sphere of Influence Review.
This is LAFCO 2224S, the Sphere of Influence Review for the Ojai Basin Groundwater Management Agency. Again, the summary slide regarding the Sphere of Influence requirements and MSR. LAFCO's determinations regarding spheres of influence are similar to those for MSRs and are listed here on the slide. And they include the present and planned land uses in the area, present and probable need for public facilities and services, the present capacity of public facilities and adequacy of public services, and the existence of any social or economic communities of interest. You've seen this slide before, the map, the official map of the OBGMA, which covers the Ojai Valley, including most of the city of Ojai and the east end of Ojai. The notice was required and provided in the Ventura County Star, posted on the Ventura LAFCO website and outside the Government Center. No comments have been received. And staff recommends that the Commission adopt the resolution making determinations and reviewing the sphere of influence for the OBGMA pursuant to LAFCO law, including that a sphere of influence update is not necessary. That concludes the presentation.
Okay, any questions or comments from the public?
So clarifying. So this is the larger boundary, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the questions I think that I have are with the one inside that larger boundary, right? Okay, okay, thanks.
Okay. Nothing from the comment. Moving on to the commission. Any questions or comments? Okay, waiting for a motion.
Move staff's recommendation.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
You opposed? Okay, moving on to item 13, LAFCO 2225S Ojai Water Conservation District Sphere of Influence Review.
This is the sphere of influence review for the Ojai Water Conservation District. These are repeats of what you saw before regarding spheres of influence and municipal service reviews and the determinations required for spheres of influence. Again, the Ojai Water Conservation District service area shown outside, mostly outside the city of Ojai, but partly within, in the east end. The notice of public hearing was provided in the Ventura County Star on the website and also outside the Government Center. No comments have been received. And staff's recommendation, as we discussed earlier, alluded to as part of the MSR discussion, is to continue the sphere of influence review of the Ojai Water Conservation District and direct staff to return to the commission at such time as a feasibility study has been completed on behalf of the Ventura County Watershed Protection District to determine if the diversion facility component of the San Antonio Creek Spreading Grounds Rehabilitation Project is expected to ultimately operate as originally contemplated. So the plan, again, is for us to come back as soon as that feasibility study has been completed. We've had an opportunity to go through that and come back to your commission with recommendations or direction.
Thank you, Andrew. Okay, Pat.
Andrea, there is no timeline on that feasibility study?
It is. That's the one that's expected to occur by the end of this year.
Well, that's quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
We're only here in March, and, we could be looking at a feasibility study in December.
We might be.
This organization gave you no indication of timeline of what their contract is?
We just know that it's expected this year.
Seems like a long time, so,
Yeah.
That's government.
yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay, other comments, questions?
I'll second.
And that's to continue. That's okay, the staff's recommended action. Okay, we have a first and a second to continue with the sphere of influence review. And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Staff's recommendation is approved. Moving on to item 14, Pleasant Valley Water Conservation District Sphere of Influence Review and update.
This is the last one, LAFCO 2402S, the Pleasant Valley County Water District Sphere of Influence Review and Update. Again, I'll move through these quickly. The map of the district. And this is the area that is recommended for an update. The district's sphere of influence includes approximately 13.5 acres of land within the city of Camarillo that is developed and is used for industrial purposes. This area is not within the district service area and would not require irrigation water from the district now or in the future, and therefore it's proposed for removal from the district sphere, and the district is agreeable to that. Notice was provided as required, and no comments have been received. And staff recommends that the commission adopt a resolution making determinations and reviewing the sphere of influence for the Pleasant Valley County Water District pursuant to LAFCO law, and also updating the sphere of influence for the district. And that concludes the presentation.
Do you have any questions or comments from members of the public? Questions or comments from the commission? Okay, looking for a motion.
I'd make a motion to adopt the staff's recommendation.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 15, Sphere of Influence Review, update for the City of Ojai.
Thank you, Vice Chair Avila. We are recommending that this item be continued to the April meeting. That'll allow staff some additional time to look into some historical agreements that are germane to the city's sphere of influence.
Okay. Any comments from the public? Comments from the commission, or a motion? Okay, first and a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And moving on to correspondence received, item 16 is a letter from Olga Damascus regarding Bell Canyon Community Service Districts on February 28th. That's for receive and file. So moving on to Executive Officers Report.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Avila. Not much to add. In addition to the staff report here, we will be bringing a proposed budget to the commission next month. That's April. LAFCO law does require the commission adopt a proposed budget followed by a final budget. The reason for that is that the proposed budget will then be transferred to the districts and the cities and the counties so they can start budgeting their allocations to LAFCO. Next month, or possibly in May, we will be bringing to the commission an item to start the process for selecting a new regular public member and a new alternate public member to begin four-year terms in January. Typically, in the past, that process has involved the appointment of an ad hoc subcommittee on the commission that will conduct interviews of potential candidates and then make a recommendation to the commission. It is a several-month-long process, so we may be starting it in April or May at the very latest. Just mention that the CalAFCO staff workshop will be next month, late next month. It's in Pleasanton this year, and all three staff members are planning to attend. And the next LAFCO meeting will be Wednesday, April 17th. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Kai, some time ago, there was an interest to provide videos that highlighted different topical items. Do you remember that proposal and what became of that?
Yes, so the proposal or the idea is to produce 2 to 3 videos for the website. One just about what LAFCO is and does. Another is to use a case study of certain LAFCO actions, such as an annexation or reorganization. And then another one to talk about spheres of influence, MSRs, and how they apply to formations of districts and the establishment of spheres of influence. The commission actually budgeted funds for that, and we are in the process of doing that. The CAFS Media has completed one of the interviews of the Pleasant Valley Rec and Park District Director as an example of a simple, straightforward annexation. The example of a reorganization, we're going to be using the Rio Urbana reorganization, which included an annexation to the city of Oxnard. We are currently finalizing that interview with Ashley Golden. She is the assistant city manager who will be doing that interview. That's going to be here the next week or two. Following that, we will be setting up another interview with Joe Pope. He is the Director of Water and Sanitation for the county to talk about the formation of the county service area out in Lake Sherwood. So they are progressing. It's been difficult arranging the time with the different staff members to conduct these interviews. So we are moving forward with it and hope to have those completed later this year.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. I just had a quick question of whether or not LAFCO is involved at all with the OPV lawsuit. The Oxnard Pleasant Valley lawsuit.
We are not.
No. Okay.
No,
thanks.
LAFCO is not.
Okay.
Any other questions? Commissioner comments? Okay, and with that, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.